Guys, welcome back to another Breakouts YouTube video. Today we got our starts and sits for week 7 of fantasy football. And boys, before we get into it, we created an absolutely free group chat on Chalkboard. On that free group chat, we give out our full rankings, top 48 wide receivers, 36 RBs, 20 tight ends, 20 QBs for week 7. And every week till the end of the season, we got trade advice, waiver wire targets, open chats. You guys can talk with the almost 8,000 people on there. If you want all this stuff completely free, it's the first link in the description. First start of the week is Pat Freiermuth. Pat Freiermuth has a pretty solid matchup. The Dolphins, I believe, are one of the 10 worst teams in the league against tight ends for fantasy football. Pat Freiermuth obviously missed last week with a concussion, but he's good to go. He will play on Sunday Night Football. And Pat Freiermuth was pretty solid to start the season. First 4 games when he was healthy, averaged 7.5 targets. 3 of those games had 12 or more fantasy points. Tight ends have been so bad this year, he's been a pretty safe option. And our second must-start player of the week is Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is finally back from the injury he sustained in week 1. In week 1, he was horrible, only had around 4 points, but this week, he goes against the Lions. The Lions are one of the worst defenses in the NFL against QB points. For fantasy football, they are 31st against QBs. This game is a pretty high over-under. 49 points, that's one of the highest out of all the matchups. And Dak hasn't played the Lions in a while, but last time he did play them a couple years ago, I don't know what this means, but he put up over 31 fantasy points. He's proven he can beat them in the past. Lions have a horrible defense. You have to start Dak if you have him. Our third start of the week is Corey Davis. This is more of a sleeper start, a start if you're super desperate, if you have one of these good receivers on bye. But Corey Davis has been solid so far this season, averaging around 11 fantasy points. Not great, but not horrible. But the main reason we like him this week is Elijah Moore is not playing. He asked for a trade, and now he's not even playing for them. So it's going to be him and Garrett Wilson. We went with Corey Davis because he's been playing a lot more snaps than Garrett Wilson has been lately. Again, this is more of a sleeper start, but he has upside. And our fourth must-start player of the week, another Cowboy against this terrible Lions defense. We have Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott had a very terrible matchup last week against the Eagles and still managed to get 15.6 fantasy points. The Lions are 31st against RBs as well as they are against QBs. They're just terrible all around on defense. I think Zeke has a very good chance to score a touchdown this week. Lions are terrible. Zeke is almost a must-start in week 7. And our fifth start of the week, we have a defense this time. It's the Patriots defense. This defense is such an obvious start. They're the number 3 defense right now. Bears, I believe, are 28th against defenses. Bears are horrible, and they're traveling to New England. It's not even in Chicago. It's in New England. This game is going to be terrible. It's Monday Night Football. I don't know why they put this game on primetime. This defense is going to take over this Bears offense. Yeah, the Bears are going to be awful. Again, just start the Patriots defense. And our last start of the week is Allen Lazard. Allen Lazard has been very solid recently. In each of his last 4 games, he hasn't gotten under 13 fantasy points yet. He has 4 touchdowns in his past 5 games. He's looking like the Packers wide receiver 1. Also, the Packers are coming off a terrible game against the Jets. They should not have lost that. And this week, they have a really good matchup against Taylor Heineke and the Washington Commanders. Commanders are currently 27th against wide receivers. Allen Lazard being this wide receiver 1, we do like him. He's averaging 8.3 targets per game over the past 3 games. He's looking like Rodgers' favorite target, and if you could, we'd start him in week 7. Now moving on to sits, our first sit of the week is Courtland Sutton. Courtland Sutton was not great last week. 3 targets, 2 catches, I believe only 3.4 fantasy points. He got completely shut down, and it's a bad matchup. Sauce Gardner has been awesome so far. We expect Sauce to travel with Sutton. Again, Broncos offense has looked horrible. Sutton was bad last week. Don't like the matchup. We would avoid Sutton if you could. And next up, our second sit. This is almost a must sit. In no league would I start Dante Foreman. I know CMC left. I know Foreman's probably going to be the RB1 in Carolina, but I just don't care. They're going against the Buccaneers, who are currently number 1 against RBs. They do not mess around when it comes to the RB position. And Foreman's probably going to split with Chuba. He might get 60-65% of snaps. Also, this Carolina Panthers offense is horrendous. It was bottom 3 in the league with CMC. Now CMC gone. I don't expect anything. They won't be able to move the ball too much. Last week with PJ Walker at QB, they had 154 yards as a total offense. Most of those did come from CMC. Terrible matchup, terrible offense, not even a great player. In no league would I start Dante Foreman. And our third sit of the week is David Montgomery. Going back to starting the Patriots defense, this game is going to be super ugly. Patriots defense is going to absolutely destroy the Bears offense, and Montgomery has not even been a bell cow lately. Herbert's been taking carries. Again, don't love this matchup at all. We would definitely sit Montgomery if you could. And our second last sit of the week is Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin, the big problem with him is Taylor Heineke is now the QB in Washington. Carson Wentz was decently solid, not great, not bad. He had some good games. Taylor Heineke last year was not amazing. Terry McLaurin was the wide receiver 34 in points per game with Heineke. Going against the Packers, they are number 7 currently against wide receivers. The defense has been very good against the wide receiver position, especially. Don't love Terry McLaurin at all. If you could, then we'd recommend sitting him. And our last sit of the week is Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne had a ton of hype going into the season, fell off, but is starting to come back a little bit. He's been playing more, but again, last week played under 50% of snaps again and has a tough matchup against the Giants. The Giants are number 9 against running backs. Again, don't love the matchup. Etienne's playing less than 50% of snaps. Like his upside long term, just not this week against the Giants. And boys, thanks so much for watching the video. If you made it to the end, make sure you hit that like, make sure you hit that subscribe, and check out our free chalkboard. Gives out all of our rankings, trade advice, waiver wire targets. First link in the description. Thanks boys for watching the video. We'll see you guys next time.